Hi guys, I have been tagged by Vanessa, give it a minute, Wilson. I only know her as the other VW on Twitter, so I kind of assumed that her YouTube name was also the other VW. Took me a while to find her channel, but she's called Vanessa Wilson here on YouTube and I will link her below. She has tagged me to do the British tag. Now, mini rant, first of all. I kind of feel like everyone thinks that Britain and England are the same thing, and they are not the same thing at all. It's like, this kind of really bugs me that people call themselves, or like ask people if they're British, because that is so many different kinds of places that you could be from. I know that, you know, like the United States is such a huge country and from one end to another, but British is not English. English is England, is from the people that are from England, from this particular country, and I wouldn't mind if they'd actually added in some questions that actually related to other countries in Britain, but they don't. It's basically the English tag. So that's just a little thing, not for the people that live here, but for people that don't necessarily live here, that mistakenly believe that, and even the people that created the tags mistakenly believe that, one, Britain and England are the same thing, and almost that London and England are the same thing. So they're my little mini rants about this particular tag, and it's kind of the reason that I haven't done it until now, but Vanessa tagged me, and so I kind of thought, okay, I'll do the tag. So, little rant over. You know I like to rant. First of all, I'll try to have some grace about this. First of all, how many cups of tea do you drink in a day, and how many sugars? Now I have loads of notes in front of me because I never normally do like notes and things for tags. I'm never normally prepared, but I thought since I'm going to do it, I'll be prepared. Tea. I can drink as many cups of tea as someone will make me. I like them to be made for me, ideally. But if I have to make my own cup of tea, then I suppose I will. I'm talking about my husband, not like people I work with. I drink my tea black and weak. Not how I like my men. That's not normally a combination people like. I like my tea with no milk, absolutely no sugar. I would just absolutely die if anyone put sugar in my tea. I used to, as a kid, have a very little bit of milk and half a teaspoon of sugar. And it's laziness that made me have black tea, because it was, oh, I have to go to the fridge to get the sugar, So I just ended up weaning myself onto black tea, and now it's all I like, but definitely not too strong, because if it's too strong, then it's kind of, then I kind of feel like it would take me back to needing a little bit of milk. So I really just kind of show it the tea bag. It definitely looks like tea. It's not like pale, but it's weak tea, effectively. Way too much information about how I take my tea. Number two, favourite part of a roast, and I'm assuming this is roast dinner. I really like Yorkshire puddings and stuffing and gravy. I could probably just have that. I mean, Yorkshire puddings are kind of the same as pancakes. So for me, pancakes and Yorkshire puddings are kind of either savoury or sweet depending on what you put on them. So like I can have a pancake with cheese in, which is amazing, by the way. If you've never tried a pancake with grated cheese in the middle, rolled up, excellent. And Yorkshire pudding with golden syrup, equally as nice. So just a little thing, just put that out there. For those of you that have never tried that, please do, because it's amazing. But they're probably my favourite parts of a roast dinner. Number three, favourite dunking biscuit. Absolutely, unequivocally, ginger nut. Absolutely, definitely. It is like a hardcore dunking biscuit, and one of my favourite biscuits anyway. What do we have next? Favourite quintessentially British I can't talk. Favourite quintessentially British pastime. Now, again, this kind of brings you back to where in Britain you're from as to what would be a quintessentially British pastime. I would say mine would be staying indoors, because the weather is always rubbish. Occasionally it's nice, but then you go out and then it's cold and then it rains, and so you have to come back indoors again. I don't have any kind of quintessentially British activities that I kind of take part in. I'm not like into croquet or whatever you might think is a quintessentially British pastime, but we stay indoors a lot because it's cold and it rains, and so I'm going to say that's my thing that I do, because as a blogger and a YouTuber we spend a lot of time indoors doing those kinds of things, and so that is my answer. Number five, favourite word. It doesn't specify whether or not this has to be a British word. I'm assuming an English word, as in non-other language word. It would probably be some kind of expletive, but the least sweary swear word that I could possibly tell you right now would be bollocks. One of my favourite words that I would say is more English than other countries, but please feel free to tell me that you use that somewhere else. 6, Cockney rhyming slang. Again, someone in Scotland wouldn't necessarily have a favourite Cockney rhyming slang. So I'm going to make this slightly more regional because I'm from Yorkshire, which is the north of England. Although I'm the worst with geography. We're not the most north. I used to think we were the most north once upon a time. We're definitely not the most north. There is much north of us, but we are in the north of England, but we're in the south of Yorkshire, so kind of almost the middle of England. But my favourite things that I am aware of that Yorkshire people say are, it's all about kind of missing letters off things, and then just weird things that we say. But you may remember when Peter Kay was taking the piss out of people because they were saying like Tinternet. This is like such an old reference, but Tinternet. Well, people that know this, it makes them laugh and they'll know what I'm talking about, but if you've no idea what I'm talking about, tin, tin, tin. It means it isn't in the tin. So if someone would say, it's in tin, tin. Like, it is in the tin, it's in tin, tin. Yeah, hopefully that comes across. The other one that I really like is put wood in oil, which means close the door. Put the wood in the hole. Put wood in oil. Yeah. Regional. Not just Cockney rhyming slang, although apples and pears. I only really know the ones that everyone knows because I'm not from London. Number 7, favourite sweet would probably be cola cubes. Thinking of something that you would get from a sweet shop rather than like Skittles, because that's probably my favourite sweet. So I'm going to say cola cubes, which were kind of like cubes. You must have those elsewhere. Like cubes that were kind of Coca-Cola flavoured and covered in sugar. What would your pub be called is number 8. Definitely the Stumble Inn. I saw that. There used to be a Stumble Inn in Sheffield, which is near where I live. And it closed down. I think there's another pub opposite it, which probably ran out of business. But I always thought that was an excellent name for a pub. The Stumble Inn. Definitely, 100% would be my pub. I suppose another quintessentially English thing to do would be go to the pub, and that would be one of the things I like to do. Number 9 is number 1 British person. This is such a weird question. Number 1 British person would probably be Hugh Laurie, because he's kind of like both sides. I'm like, in my mind, I'm an adopted American. I wouldn't necessarily want to live there. I love living where I live. But I like to visit America, and I love American TV and American culture and American food, and you know, if I could just kind of like replace everything in my life other than where I live as America, then I would. And Hugh Laurie is kind of like the best of both. He's amazing as like Hugh Laurie and a bit of Fry and Laurie. Hugh Laurie and Stephen Fry are kind of like a bit of a joint for me. I love them both. But also Hugh Laurie was House, which is like one of my all-time favourite TV shows. But yeah, actually, Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie, I'm going to go for Fry and Laurie. As a couple. I'm going to tie them together, because they should be. Number 10, favourite shop or restaurant. Favourite shop would probably be House of Fraser, if we're talking about shops in England. Favourite restaurant is tough, because it's all chain restaurants. I'm not kind of like big on little mini restaurants, whatever. You know, like, ooh, there's this special little restaurant around the corner that no one knows about. No, TGI Fridays, all the chain restaurants. Really into Prezzo at the moment. And I think it's Latasca. Is it Latasca or something else that does like, they do like enchiladas and all Mexican food? It probably is Latasca, but the best thing about those is they do happy hour where you get 2 for 1 on drinks. I wish we had one in like taxi distance from me, but I'd have to drive. And then what's the point in getting 2 for 1 drinks if you have to drive? But yeah, they're kind of my favourites, not particularly English. What British song pops into your head? I kind of had to think about this one because nothing pops into my head unless it's like Britpop, and then you're talking kind of Oasis and like Pulp and Blur and those kind of things. They were kind of Britpop era. But if I think of Oasis, my favourite song from Oasis would probably be The Importance of Being Idle, the one that has Reese Fantz in the video. Loved that. I had an Oasis phase a few years ago. Wanted to call Ella Lila, was told that I wasn't allowed to. But yeah, that was some years ago. In my late teens I liked Oasis. Not a big fan anymore, but that was probably my favourite song, and that's kind of British, isn't it? Number 12 is Marmite. It's not really a question, but yes, I like Marmite. Big fan of Marmite. Probably my favourite thing snack-wise would be cup of tea. Oh my goodness, my computer just turned itself off at the last question. Excellent, perfect timing. Really like Marmite. Would like a cup of tea and some Marmite, but the thing is with that is the tea has to be cool just at the right time so that you can drink the tea and eat the Marmite, because otherwise I make the cup of tea and because I have black tea it takes longer to cool down than if you have cold milk in it. And so I kind of have to make the cup of tea and then 5 minutes later then start making the Marmite on toast, and then I can eat them, and they are both perfect eating / drinking temperature. Does anyone else understand what I'm talking about? No. This is probably a British thing, like just rambling completely incoherently and no one understanding anything that you're saying. I don't get a lot of this from YouTubers across the pond. I feel like it's just me. But that is the British tag. I'm going to tag, I don't know whether or not they've done this already, but if they haven't, I will tag Emma from Essiie Channel, Laura from Laura Loves Beauty, Kaz from BNT Blogger, and I'm going to leave it at that for now. I'll just tag those 3 people and hopefully they will do the video, and if they don't, please go and tell them I tagged them, and they must, because it's such a fun tag. I'd be really interested to see some more regional tags, so kind of like Northern or like Lancashire, or you know, Northern and Lancashire's not comparable, but you know what I mean. Kind of like different counties or whatever, because it's different and people have their own colloquialisms and things that they eat that other people found totally crazy. And yeah, like some people will never have encountered a Cornish pasty. What is in a Cornish pasty? They will have no idea. And that's the kind of thing that I find really interesting, and it's so difficult to just say all of Britain do this. What is British? Because it's huge, so many different kind of cultures, even within England alone. So add in 2 more countries, crazy. So yeah, that's my kind of ramble and rant, but please feel free to add your own 2 cents to the comments. And whatever of these answers you would answer, please let me know what your answers would be to these questions, because I find it quite interesting, and the other ones that I've watched have been pretty good as well. So yeah, I might do some more tags, let me know. I'll try and keep it keep the anger level to a minimum in the future. But I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!